fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this,
Dr. Johnson Edosomwan is seeking to be Nigeria's next president. With his enviable credential, Edosomwan's background no doubt has prepared him for his ambition under the umbrella of his party, the Nigerian Democratic Congress Party, NDCP. Born as an orphan, he grew up in poverty, not knowing his father who died when he was less than 2 years old, and his mother took ill soon after. He grew up working as an housemaid, going to school hungry and borrowing books to attend classes. He was saved from the grip of misery and poverty at 10, and at 17 fate smiled at him and he moved to the United States of America. He recalled that on arrival in the United States, he worked as a dishwasher, housemaid, a newspaper deliverer, and much more. In pursuit of his life goals, young Edosomwan in the United States struggled to earn enough money to start his undergraduate studies at the Miami-Dade Community College. From there, he earned his BSIE and MSIE from the University of Miami and went on to receive his Doctor of Science in Engineering Management and Economics from the George Washington University and Professional Engineering degree from Columbia University. With his educational degree, young Edosomwan saw a bigger dream, a new purpose in life and a role to play in life and humanity. Focusing on leadership and management development, he obtained one lofty feat after another, and before long he emerged the first to be reckoned with from local neighborhood and today to many nations. As chairman of the Johnson A. Edosomwan Limited Liability Corporation, he moved on to set up the Johnson A. Edosomwan Foundation, JJA Consultant Incorporated, Innovative Best Business Consultant, IBBC, Radio Companion, and the Continuous Improvement Company. He became a pioneer in leadership and management development, re-engineering, quality, productivity, customer satisfaction, innovation and technology management, diversity management, and much more. As an executive coach and principal consultant, Dr. Edosomwan is known to have helped over 6,000 organizations in numerous countries. He is credited for the development of over 425 performance and improvement tools and is the developer of the EBAT Performance Excellence tool. In recognition of his leadership in May 2014 in Fairfax, Virginia, USA, the Board of Trustees of Virginia Union University conferred on him the highest honor, the Honorary Doctor of Divinity degree for ministry, leadership, accomplishment, and contribution to humanity and to the world. Edosomwan has received over 175 awards, including Men of Achievement in the World, Who is Who of Intellectuals, and Who is Who in Distinguished Leadership. To his credit, he has authored and edited over 68 books and holds over 16 certifications in several academic disciplines. Happily married to Mary Edosomwan and blessed with 2 adult children. As a reverend gentleman, he has been the host of Life Solutions, Extraordinary Connection with God, and Sunday Worship Hour radio programs, and can be seen regularly on One God TV, Wisdom for You. Dr. Johnson Edosomwan's interest in politics and changing the situation in Nigeria led him to the Nigerian Democratic Congress Party, and a political party he founded to vie for political office in Africa's second largest economy, Nigeria. He shared his vision to unify and transform Nigeria to a nation free from corruption in this interview with Biodun Kukboluyi.
Dr. Johnson, welcome to this program, Flip Chat.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. How did your background prepare you for where you are today?
Quite a lot. As you know, I have tremendous amount of education, 2 doctorate degrees, a master's, bachelor's, 16 certification. But most importantly, I have utilized those certifications in helping different organizations worldwide, in working with all of the largest agencies in the United States, and then also trying to help Fortune 500 companies and all those that are in need. So I have paid my dues overseas. Now I want to come home and help my homeland.
Did you deliberately shut up Nigeria from knowing how much you have achieved? Because from what I saw, your credentials, you could have used the opportunity to let people out to know who you are. Is it deliberate that you are choosing this time to come back home and then give back?
Well, the time of my coming is all divine, by the grace of God. And up to now, I have focused on number one in helping other nations, like I said before, and then now I have seen the need of the suffering in the land. I see the need for changes in the land. I've seen some of the things that I have implemented worldwide that it will be very relevant here in Nigeria. And I think we're here to bring lasting and sustaining change, to elevate the suffering and then to build infrastructure, good roads, water, electricity, and all of the things that is needed.
Well, Nigerian youths, regardless of where they come from, have gotten this reawakening, to take a shot at elected posts. Is it because of the rot or because of the need to aspire? Which of these fit into your bill?
The reason why this is fit into my bill is to elevate the suffering of mankind. And I have been to just about now every state, and everywhere you go, and you see the suffering of humanity. And I think there's a time that God wants to, change it. And we could elevate, the poverty by creating jobs. We could elevate, all the bad roads by creating good roads. We can even elevate, the issue of cars. 99% of the cars are from overseas. And electricity, our productivity is less than, 15%. You cannot manufacture anything because of electricity. And the telephone, when you are talking, in 5 minutes it drop off. All of these things are things that could be resolved and solved.
What motivated you to float your own party, the NDCP?
When we looked around the entire nations, we did a very thorough research on all of the existing parties. I'm not here to criticize, which one is better than the other, but we felt that those parties, their value system would not agree with ours, because there was quite a lot of things, that does not, agree with our value system. And so we decided to then, do our own political party so that, we can maintain a very clean slate, in what we're doing. Anyone that is going to be a part of NDCP has to be, checked, a background investigation. We have to make sure that they are not corrupt, that they are not also, going to be taking the money of the government and shoving it overseas and so forth. So we are very serious about what we're doing. That's one of the reasons why we started our own party, to make sure that we select candidates that can come and represent the value system that we believe in.
Well, one of the major problems that I feel Nigeria has is leadership. And now youths are being accused of being lazy, not being able to come up and take up the leadership. Do you also agree that Nigerian youths are lazy? No,
the youth are not lazy, they are energetic. The youth are not lazy, they are energetic, because youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. When you are able to channel that energetic, power that the youth has, and then put them to use, they become the leaders of the future. I see millions of Nigerians with master's degree, PhDs, and bachelors driving taxi cab. Some of them actually on the street, selling things, and they don't have jobs. And our goal is to create millions of jobs to Nigerians, and then those jobs will be created in manufacturing, in agriculture, in service, and it will be created in infrastructure project. It will be created in all walks of life. So we need to move away from being an oil economy to be bi-molecular economy, whereby the jobs can also represent those sectors as well. The youth of Nigeria are very brilliant. By the way, every country I've been to, either I have seen Nigerians who are the top of their profession, or that they have created innovations that have really surpassed. In one of the writing that I was just seeing recently, a medical doctor was able to, this is a Nigerian, he was able to take a pregnant woman who had a brain tumor in that baby. He brought out the baby, removed the tumor, and implanted the baby, and the baby was born alive. That was a Nigerian. So we do have Nigerians that are very world class. They are not lazy, they are serious people, and they just need good leadership to be led.
Okay, let's quickly go into your determination to rule Nigeria. I want to also have at the back of your mind that there are gladiators in the political space. How do you intend to use that determination that's taking you this far to ensure your dream come true?
First of all, we're here for the positive transformation. we're not here, there's enough to talk about Nigerian problems. You can talk about Nigerian problem all day. We're here to offer positive solution. NDCP is a credible progressive alternative to all of the political party that has been there. So the reason why we're very credible is that, number one, all of the people that are within our party and those that are going to be in our administration will have, what it takes to be able to, make, things work, better. So we intend, number one, to focus on the economy. And that economy is multi-dimensional from, manufacturing, service, healthcare, education, infrastructure, solar energy, high-speed rail, and all of the various things. And we intend to create at least $7 million per year.
Yeah. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Nigeria is in a war situation. Do you agree?
Yes. I think if you look back to the 1960s, where we got our independence, some people have made the determination that we would have been better off, to be left alone, to be ruled by the colonial masters than what we've been through. But you see, we're a young democracy, and anyone that look at what we do has to always look at it from that perspective. So when you are a young democracy, you have to be willing to tolerate all of the things that is happening. But the one thing that is unforgiving though is the corruption. See, the corruption has there's no need for Nigerians to be corrupt. Because if you can eliminate, or minimize corruption, for that matter, you will be able to really do a lot of things. So corruption has been one of the things that have set Nigeria back, where millions and millions of dollars has been siphoned overseas and to World Bank and to all of the places worldwide.
How do you intend to nip in the bud the festering crisis of the herdsmen and the farmers, which is claiming many lives daily in Nigeria?
It's a very simple problem. First of all, you need to understand that some of the problems that are rooted in Nigeria, they have warlords and grandfathers. So when you have situation which is the herdsman, which is an agricultural problem, first of all, people need to eat meat, but also people need to live. So you cannot, sacrifice human being, for the cow or satisfy the cow for the human being. So you got to provide the space for them to be able to have, their agricultural products. And then they have to have license and they have to be supervised. You cannot just allow people to be roaming around, shooting people, and then claiming that they have the right to do that. So this is a country of law and order. One is, number one, you got to provide, agricultural boundaries for them, and then the place that for them to graze their cattle. So when you go down to all of the belts of the geopolitical zone within Nigeria, you can create 6 geopolitical zones where in each zones, there are places where the herdsmen can be able to raise their cattle. They are not supposed to be running around, from one place to the other, taking the farm of others. That's where the conflict comes from. So, and then when you create that kind of discipline, to be able to understand that their agricultural product is very important to the economy, then, then the conflict will go away. But then when you have people that are behind the scenes supporting, those kind of people, then that's another issue to resolve. So first of all, you got to, work on who are behind these people and what is the sources of the conflict. And then you want to get to the bottom of it. We need to be a country of law and order and a country of agricultural product, because we need cows, we need goats, we need all those, but they got to be done in a decent manner.
Yeah, one of the problems facing Nigeria is also the problem of the fact that a lot of people want Nigeria to be disorganized or to be rearranged, and I don't know what to stand, because that is one major call among Nigerians now. People are divided. People want Nigeria to be rearranged in the sense maybe some tribe go this way or the other way. What's your take on this?
Well, first of all, united we stand, divided we fall. And I believe that there is strength in diversity. And the brothers and sisters in the north and the brothers and sisters in the east and the west or in the south, all of them are looking for a better life. They are looking for jobs. They are looking for a good education for their children, a good hospitality for their own people. And they are looking for a way to be able to, guarantee their future. So it doesn't really matter when people are agitating for Biafra or agitating for this and so forth. I think, that is just, kind of misinformed, because with diversity is strength. When you take the diversity, from the north to the one to the south, to the east and west, and bring them into the unified, process, Nigeria will be a stronger place.
How will you assess this present government's fight against corruption?
The performance of the present government is left to the Nigerian people. And I'm not here to criticize the present or the future government. I'm here to provide a progressive direction for the country. And one of the things that we will provide will be a system of government that is accountable, where leaders, men and women, will be accountable for their action. And one of the ways to strengthen government is not just by arresting or taking money from people. One, you got to strengthen the institution of government. Two, you got to re-engineer work processes, whereby all of the work processes are so tightened that when there is corruption, you will be able to figure that out. Thirdly, you got to use technology to do a lot of the transaction, so that when there are no manual intervention in the system, it is very difficult for people to take a whole bucket of money. When you are able to create a point of accountability to everything that you're doing, is very easy. Secondly, you got to train everyone, accountable. And finally, you have to pay decent wages. Part of the things, for example, you have a police officer that is paid less than minimum wage, and that police officer has a family to feed. So how do you expect that police officer to be able to feed their family? So one of the things also, you got to pay decent wages to the people, and you have to train them and give them the tools and technique to get the job done. So corruption is a very diversified issue. You cannot just look at it, say, okay, if I can just bring all the money back, then everything will be done. No. You got to do all these things, strengthen the institution of government, use technology to be able to, make people accountable for all of the things they are doing. Then create, educational system that be able to train people. And from A to Z, even from our elementary school to all the university level, we need to be training people on ethics and integrity. We need to be training people on leadership competencies, on what it takes to be able to have the leadership competencies so that you are accountable for what you are doing. So it takes a lot, to be able to deal with corruption, other than just taking money from people.
At this point in Nigeria, we need a problem solver. Mm-hmm. Someone who will solve the problem of education, power, and of course health. Right now, businesses are closing down daily because there is no power. How do you intend to solve the power problem in Nigeria, despite all the huge amounts, that sector has taken?
First of all, when it comes to power, all options are on the table. Number one, we want to look at solar energy. We want to look at wind. We want to look at hydroelectricity. And then we want to also look at even nuclear if we have to, just for peaceful use, not for nuclear weapon, but nuclear electricity. Okay. When you go to the north, when you drive to the north, there's solar energy wasted every day from sunlight that could be harvested to power all of the northern states. And when you do that, there are wind energy that are wasted every day. And when you are in the south, hydroelectricity power and wind power. So that, what I said earlier, the productivity in Nigeria is less than 15%. Because of that, you cannot make anything. Because when you're producing something, you want, standalone electricity to be there for people to be able to run the machines, to be able to be productive. But when there's no electricity, people are going to be idle. When I was at the airport at Abuja, the conveyor belt stopped. There was no electricity. All the places were dark, and people just were waiting. There was no outrage. For almost about an hour, 15, 20 minutes, there was no outrage. People were just, doing this. And I was surprised, because electricity is the bulk of productivity. One of the things we will do here is make sure that we select the best companies, some of which I have worked for during my career, and then get them here within 6 months to go ahead and address the issue of electricity, telephone, and roads, and all these things that are just problematic. Part of it is not the problem of Nigerians, it's the problem of the corrupt Nigerians that wants to perpetuate the system because they are benefiting from the corruption. Because only the few people are benefiting and the masses are suffering. And the suffering in the land is massive. And that is one of the reasons we're here to change that.
What about the health sector?
The health sector, we will implement a single taxpayer system. You see, one of the things, in the healthcare business, when you go to Europe, you go to Canada or you go to Europe and all this other stuff, there's debate on whether or not, the healthcare system, which is better and which is not good and so forth. But one of the things we would recommend is a single taxpayer system, which means an average Nigerian will have the same health care that somebody that is a Senate, that the president of the country have. And this issue of going abroad for health care will be minimized because we have trained medical doctors, but they need to be given the right facility, the right equipment, and then the resources to be able to perform. And we got, I told you before, what I said earlier, that a Nigerian that was able to go into saving a baby that was not born, and then putting the baby back to me, I was born. This was world class. So we have the brain power to do it, but it will be a simple taxpayer system that will be implemented, across the board, which means the poor man, the rich man, and the middle man will all have the same healthcare system.
Another major problem we face in Nigeria is unemployment, especially among youths. How do you intend to engage the youths and get them jobs?
That would be our number one top priority. First of all, the first 9 months of our administration will be youth mobilization, which means that now we need to provide training. A lot of the academic training we have is fine, but we need cyber training, we need electrical training, mechanical training, electrician training, carpenter training, and so forth. And while they are being trained, we are providing the job of the future for infrastructure, airport, road, water, bridges, electricity, all of these things. So those people that are trained will be coming, to a job that they can perform. And while they are in that training, they will be paid some minimum wages. And then once they get certification, they will be paid, their optimum wages. So from day one, we will have a training program for the youth to stop all of these problems where the youth are just floundering around, having nothing to do. They just headless and so forth. Like I said before, the youth are not lazy, but they are very energetic and they are the leaders of the future. If you put that energy, I have met a lot of them. I was once a youth, but now I'm an adult. But if I was, a lazy youth, I could not be a productive adult today. But, so the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow.
Two major factors determine who rules in Nigeria. Money and godfathers. Who are your godfathers?
I don't have one. The only godfather I have is the one that, the creator of heaven and earth.
And you think you can wade through the muddy waters of politics?
By his grace and by the power of the Nigerian people, we will succeed.
Now, let us assess the fact that you'll be working with the legislative arm in government. What is the assessment of the legislative arm of government in Nigeria?
The legislative arm of the government, they are all very diverse. First of all, the Nigerian legislation they are the number one well-paid in the entire world.
And you want that to continue too?
No, not at all. But you see, that will not be my priority from day one, but it will be something that we'll do later on. But the legislation, you have to work with them on the teamwork. You cannot work with the legislation by fighting. I'm a consensus builder. I know how to put teams together. I have done this in leadership. I've done this in large organizations. I've done this in small organizations. I've done this for 500 companies, small companies, and mid-sized companies. So I know how to bring a team of people together to work. The first thing is that you bring all the team together, you show them your agenda. And then, is there anyone here in this team that does not want Nigeria to have electricity? Please stand. If there's anyone here that don't want Nigeria to have electricity, please stand. Is there anyone here that don't want Nigeria to have the right airport so that we can have a good airport? If you don't want so, please stand. I don't think there will be anyone that will stand. I think all of them, we want all of those electricity and all of the things and so forth. Now, the question is there anyone here that will have anything against having this project done, the right manner without corruption? No, people are not going to, object to that, but they will do this privately, be corrupt. But then, again, you strengthen the institution of government, you train, then you put technology, accountability, and then all the things that I talked about earlier. So there is no Nigerian that doesn't want us to have electricity. There's no Nigerian that doesn't want to have good roads. You know, the guy that have a Mercedes-Benz 550 SE, he's going to go through that same road that the guy that, have, a little bicycle that's going to go through. The only difference is that his Mercedes might break down first and he has the money to fix it, but he's going to go to the same road that we're all going through. They all want the same road and they all want the same, electricity. But the question is, they are enslaving the people to enrich themselves, and the gap between the rich and the poor is very widened.
Okay, Naira is 360 to $1 now. How do you intend to stem the tide?
You're talking about an area. You're talking about an area that I'm very an expert on. By the way, I also have a doctorate in economics.
Wow.
So, first of all, the deficit. You got to address the deficit. When you have 99% of the cars that are made overseas, that's a deficit. If you can retain that deficit and change it, the value of your money will improve. That's one. Secondly, you have to open up new markets. And I intend to be able to be partners with all of the people that want to be partners with Nigeria. And open up new markets so our people that make goods, even our agricultural products, we know so that we can open markets to them. When you open those markets, the deficit also will go down, okay? Whether it's agriculture, oil, whatever it is that we have, you want to open up new market. And then thirdly, you got to strengthen the institution of government, because there are people that love our Naira to be what it is today because they benefit from it. So, but when you strengthen the institution of government, those loopholes are closed. They are not able to, perpetuate what they've been doing. You follow me? So the issue of deficit, the issue of opening up the market, and the issue of accountability, those three alone can take, dollar that is $1 to 360 today, and that can even change it immediately to 1 to 10. A productive capacity where people are now, producing. We don't produce anything in Nigeria anymore. So, but when you are producing something, then you have value added. Your gross national product goes up. So that also will reduce, the 10 now to almost where you almost want to the dollar.
Dr. Edosomwan, politics is a game of numbers, and you are from a minority part of Nigeria, then there's Edo State. How do you intend to muster and gain support that is by Nigeria?
First of all, I said before, by the grace of the Almighty God, we can do this, and by the will of the Nigerian people. We have reached out now to everyone. We have offices in 36 states. Okay, just the fact that I'm from a minority state, the country does not mean that, we could not win. That is not, the right thinking. Because we want to bring resident best practices to change the nation. For those that are listening to this message, I hope they will give us a chance. And a chance so that they can see the benefit in what we can do in less than 3 years to turn this economy around, to turn the dollar value around, to turn the nation around, to put better infrastructure. I was at the Lagos airport and I cried, seriously.
Tell me your experience.
It was terrible. It was very horrible. And when I was at Abuja airport, it was the same. I cried. Because for us as Nigerians, that is very well known and that is very successful, when you look at what you've been able to do to make other countries successful and to see your country to be in this state, it is not a good feeling. That is one of the reasons why we are trying to make this positive change.
Now, you mentioned you don't have a godfather, and I also mentioned to you that godfatherism and money are major factors in Nigerian politics. You said God is your godfather. What about the war chest? How prepared are you? What is your war chest for this?
Well, first of all, when we were registering the political party, everybody said, no, you are crazy. You cannot register a political party in Nigeria. We said, we are going to do this. Watch us, we're going to do this. So we went through grinding one day at a time, spend at a time. It was January 10th this year, we finally was approved as a political party, only just about 5 months ago. And now we now have offices in 36 states. And by the way, we're still not borrowing bread. We're still able to eat our bread and butter. So we don't want to worry about the money. We want to worry about the ideas that is going to change this country. And we are on for this to the end of it. We are running to win and not running to lose. And God will also provide the resources. Nigerians may also help. And for those that are, want to know more about us, they can go to ndcp.ng. That's our website. You can donate. If everybody will give $1, $1 or $1 or whatever it is, or 1 kobo, to our campaign, that is something that we don't have. But we're not going to go steal money to run this campaign, or lend money from those that have been corrupt, that have stolen money from Nigeria to lend us money. No, we're not going to do that. And we want every Nigerian that wants to support this party to give us the money, to run.
How connected is your family, your wife, to this vision?
Well, she's always, been supported what I need to do. What I tell my family, I always tell my children and my wife of this. Whenever God asks me to do something, first of all, you can either support it or you can just step aside and watch me go through what I'm doing. And then pray for me while I'm going through it. So, but in this particular one, we are all together on it because they believe that it's suffering in the land. And my children, my wife, and everybody knows that they're suffering in the land, and we need to do this.
Now, let me quickly ask you this.
Okay.
If there's any problem you need to fix, immediately you assume power in Nigeria, what will it be? One problem
that I'm going to face? Immediately? I would say perhaps the whole issue of the warlords, the Godfather issue. Because some of the Godfather thinks that, unless they give you credibility, you cannot do anything. And I think, the women, the youth, and the masses will prove them wrong. That this is not the time for Godfather.
Politics is about alignment and realignment. If push comes to shove, which party do you think you can align with?
The party that has the value system of honesty, integrity, and then that stands for implementing best practices to change Nigeria. Anyone that wants to do that, then we're in alignment. But anyone that wants to do something totally different, we can shake hands and disagree and still be friends.
Well, thank you, Dr. Edosomwan. 2019 is still far away. We're yet close.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Thank you.
I'm talking to Dr. Edosomwan, and we can always wish him all the best as he aspires to be Nigeria's next president. Thank you very much. Till next week, where we meet. It's been Flipchart.